evening, you're watching 7 at 7. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. It's the only news bulletin where we curate the day's top 7 stories for our viewers, and our focus in this edition of 7 at 7 is the coronavirus and how India and the world is battling it. All right, we begin with how India continues to battle the coronavirus outbreak. After taking stock of the situation, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted saying that the government will leave no stone unturned to ensure that people across the nation remain healthy. Earlier in the cabinet meeting, it was decided that key ministries will hold daily briefings on coronavirus. Meanwhile, one individual quarantined in army facility Manesar, who returned from Italy, has now tested positive, while a Google employee working in Bengaluru tested positive. In Pune, 10 people have now tested positive. To contain the spread of the virus, schools are shut in Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Kerala, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Bihar. Other states too have imposed restrictions to discourage any public gathering.
तो मामला तो गंभीर है, लेकिन जिस तरह के स्टेप्स राजस्थान में हमारे चिकित्सा विभाग ने लिए हैं और जिस तरह की डे बाय डे डेली बेसिस पे मॉनिटरिंग हो रही है, मेरी केंद्रीय स्वास्थ्य मंत्री हर्षवर्धन जी से भी बात हुई है। कुल मिला के भारत सरकार और राजस्थान सरकार हिंदुस्तान में इसके प्रकोप को कैसे कम किया जाए, कैसे कंट्रोल किया जाए, कैसे मास अवेयरनेस हो, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि राजस्थान में मैंने बार बार कहा किसी को डरने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन सावधानी बरतने की जरूरत है।
There have been so many COVID-19 cases across the nation. Karnataka reported the 5th one that was positive today. But we're also getting information about one person who has succumbed to this. Can you please confirm this, sir?
Yes, unfortunately, there's one incidence in from Gulbarga, is a domicile of Gulbarga, who had traveled to Saudi Arabia for this religious trip to Mecca and Medina, and after his return he had developed certain symptoms of congestion, fever, sore throat and everything. So initially one day he has taken some kind of treatment in private. Then he came to our medical college in Kalburgi. Again after a day or two, his relatives have taken him to Hyderabad in one of the private hospitals. But there I think he has aggravated the symptoms, and I don't know what has happened. And finally, when he was brought back into our medical college, I think he was brought dead.
All right, news coming in. Gyms, theatres, movie theatres, public swimming pools have now been shut in Mumbai in the wake of the coronavirus crisis. Mumbai malls, however, will remain open with a rider. What that rider is, we're going to try and get in a larger picture from our reporters. But the latest, what we can tell our viewers is that theatres are now shut, gyms are now shut, public swimming pools are now shut in the state of Maharashtra. Primary schools under the government are already shut. Many private schools have, of their own volition, unilaterally called to be shut down.
ठाणे, नागपुर, पुणे, पिंपरी चिंचवड़, इन शहरों में ये सब आदेश दिए गए हैं कि ये थिएटर्स वगैरह भी बंद रखे।
मॉल्स बंद रहेंगे साथ में सर?
थिएटर ज़रूरतमंद जो रोज़ की ज़रूरत की जो चीज़ें होती है वो बंद रखना भी कठिन है, लेकिन ख़ास तौर पर थिएटर्स और क्या बोलते हैं जिम्नाशियम्स, ये हमने बंद रखने का, और स्विमिंग पूल्स।
All right, so that's the latest coming in from Maharashtra. We're going to keep getting you the very latest coming in from various states as they continue to take preventive measures against the coronavirus. Meanwhile, with WHO declaring coronavirus as a pandemic in India, the centre and the state governments are taking a slew of measures to contain the crisis. One of them is shutting down of cinema halls, malls and other public places for a certain period of time. Here's the full report.
People waiting in long queues, waiting with fresh popcorn and movie tickets. A common sight outside major movie theatres in the national capital on a Friday. But no more. Theatres in Delhi have their shutters down. This after the state government ordered closure of cinema halls till March 31st to check the spread of COVID-19.
On any other Friday, there would have been a long queue here at the ticket counter with cinema goers waiting to watch their favorite film. But this deserted look at Connaught Place's cinema halls is reflective of the government's precautionary measures to ensure that public spaces like cinema halls will remain shut till 31st March because they also are vulnerable spaces that could also escalate the spread of COVID-19.
While the order is restricted to cinema halls, a sharp drop in footfall at shopping destinations and other public places is evident.
One of the Safdarjung market where I am at the moment, and look where in the festive season usually there should be a crowd, it's completely deserted. In fact, the shopkeepers, local, all are wearing masks. There are sanitizers kept, and this all deserted look explain itself.
फुटबॉल में करीब 40% का फर्क पड़ा, सॉरी 50% का फर्क पड़ा है, और होली पे भी 40% दुकानदारी.
रीजन क्या नजर आता है आपको?
ये कोरोना वायरस के कारण.
Business is down in other cities as well. Cinema halls in Jammu are also empty.
You can see the impact the coronavirus scare have here in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly in Jammu region. The cinema halls have been shut as a precautionary measure, and according to the order of the Jammu and Kashmir, the cinema halls have been shut till March 31st, and after that the review will be done, and then government will decide whether to open cinema halls again or not.
Malls in Patna, for instance, are deserted.
Several malls in Patna are now witnessing a decline in footfall. And right now we are at one of the posh malls of Patna. This is the GV Mall located at the Boring Road crossing here in Patna. And here you can see how there's very little number of people who are right now inside this mall.
In Karnataka, Chief Minister Yediyurappa has ordered all malls, theatres, pubs, schools and universities to be shut for a week.
Malls in Bengaluru have become completely empty with zero footfalls, almost zero footfalls, except for the employees. Not much customers are seen coming to the malls at this point of time because of the coronavirus scare.
लोग तो बहुत लोग नहीं आ रहा, माल को तो 90% एम्प्टी है, और रोड भी पूरा एम्प्टी है.
आपका बिजनेस कैसा रहा है
सर? हमें एक दिन को 7,800 करता था, अभी 500 भी नहीं होता सुबह से शाम तक.
As the battle against deadly coronavirus continues, state governments and administration are leaving no stone unturned to contain the crisis. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, India Today, Shiv Arur spoke to a team of doctors on their new book on coronavirus. Here they are busting some common myths.
As India comes to terms with coronavirus and the possibility, like you said, that things are actually going to spike now, is, individual questions about things you do in daily life. How many people to meet, how to actually go to work, your social distancing. Another question that we get quite frequently is food. Can you get coronavirus from food?
Thanks, Shiv. The question is very pertinent because India as a collective society, we are all so social that even close relatives and friends tell me, so are you going to stop meeting people, And we are not discouraging meeting people, we are encouraging maintaining sufficient distance between encounters. It's not necessary to shake hands or to hug, especially at a time like this.
Yes.
Regarding food, well-cooked food, home food is safe and should be consumed. What does put one at risk when it comes to eating is ensuring that there's proper hand hygiene before you eat.
Yes.
Because in case the virus currently, as we know it, can also survive on surfaces for up to 48 hours to 72 hours.
Yes.
So if you have the virus on your hand, you want to ensure that you've washed your hands thoroughly for at least 30 to 40 seconds. with soap and only then eating your food. Otherwise, your hand touches your mouth, typically as we eat in India.
Yes.
And that can infect.
We constantly hear, and we in the media especially are trying to bust myths on a daily basis, but even in our normal social interactions, we hear a lot of misconceptions, wrong impressions about COVID-19 and coronavirus.
Currently, amidst the panic, what I feel people believe is that wearing a mask is going to protect you completely against the virus, which is not true. A mask, so people are hoarding and just wearing masks, but we have to realize that our public is not used to wearing masks on a daily basis. So very often one ends up touching the mask, adjusting the mask, and that's not going to help against the virus. In fact, if you catch the virus on your hand and you keep adjusting the mask, you're likely to get infected even further. So it's very important to know how to wear a mask, how to take it off.
Yes.
But also not just hoard masks. Masks are not for everybody to be used in this moment. Otherwise, the country is going to run out of supplies.
All right, now one big epicenter of the coronavirus has now become Italy after China. Italy is facing its biggest crisis since World War II. Here is how the country is battling the deadly outbreak. The Italian government has pledged to spend $28 billion to tackle the spread of the deadly outbreak, nearly 3 times more than it estimated it would need just a week ago. A lockdown has been imposed across the country, with restrictions eased only for pharmacies and food shops. Rome is now seeing completely deserted streets, but the epicenter, mind you, the reddest zone in Italy is the Lombardy province, and reporting from there is a journalist who we have live right now. Francesca Borri is reporting from the Lombardy province. Thank you, Francesca, for joining us right now. Can you give us a sense, Francesca, on what are you witnessing in Lombardy? We do know it is the reddest zone where the coronavirus in Italy is concerned. Very few reports coming out because there are very few reports which are being done right now. What are you seeing?
I'm in a little town called Alzano, Lombardo, and this is really the epicenter of the crisis, because this is where the first Italian infected was found. And basically what happened, but of course it didn't happen only here, unfortunately, a major doctor of the local hospital got infected quite early. And so, unintentionally, that's how the virus spread. And this is, of course, a dynamic that we will see, everywhere, or nearly everywhere. So here, somehow, we are 1 hour away from Milan, in northern Italy. Milan is the economic capital of Italy, but it's like, somehow we are 2 weeks ahead of the rest of Italy, of Europe, and I think also of you too. And, in 2 weeks, basically, it's a matter of intensive care. So we already ran out of intensive care beds here. And so everybody's infected, so no one is counting the infected anymore. I mean, no one is testing anyone anymore. Officially, here there are 35 cases, and yesterday we had 16 dead. So, of course, the number of the dead is higher than the number of cases. So no one is looking at numbers anymore, because they make no sense now. Because once, the intensive care beds are over, basically people are asked to stay at home and to get syrup and, normal drugs for flu until they can breathe somehow. Then at some point, for most of them, in a few days or in a week or two, it's all fine. But for a significant number of them, and even quite young patients, at some point they are in need of oxygen. And the point is, so first you run out of intensive care beds. And so you have, the elderly, the fragile subjects, all dying. Then you run out of oxygen too. And at that point, you see that, even younger patients start to die for nothing. I mean, you see during the night, there are ambulances all day and all night here. But during the night it's terrible because, when I wrote my first reportage, it was published on Tuesday, so written on Monday. Now we are on Friday. And last night, I could hear ambulances all the time, but now I can hear also, people screaming because you have someone, at home that suddenly stop breathing. And some of them die in this way because they don't have any oxygen tank. 2 nights ago, I was with a local pharmacist, and 42 relatives came asking for an oxygen tank, and there was not even one left. And then there is another step. So first, the elderly and let's say the sick, those who already have another pathology. At the beginning, according to our estimates, 80% of victims had another pathology. Then the second step, and basically the virus start to kill even normal patients, patients like me in good health that simply, because of a respiratory crisis, die quite suddenly. And then there is the third step, which is where we are now. The real reason why we have to stay at home, like all other Italians, now in Italy, if you get out, you need to prove to the police, because there are checkpoints everywhere, you need to prove with a written motivation, with a written statement, you have somehow to self-certify that you have urgent needs to go out. And, in case, you are lying, you risk up to 3 months in jail. And the point is now, this, new rule, in the other parts of Italy is because in this way the government hopes to stop the infection, the spread of the virus. So everybody's already infected, so the reason why we have all to stay at home is because if you get out and, I don't know, you just have a car accident or a heart attack or anything, it's raining and you sleep down in the street, there are no doctors, there are no medicines, all resources are, for the coronavirus patients. So everything else, now you can die of anything because there are no resources anymore, and basically the health system, has already collapsed.
Francesca, it's rather brave that you're reporting from an area, and especially with what you've recounted right now. We don't want to sound alarmist at all, but what you're saying is alarming. And I want to ask you, Francesca, right now, when you say everyone is infected, what do you mean by everyone? Because, you say that the numbers are now pretty much just a joke, so there's no point counting the numbers. And I also want to ask you, Francesca, is it getting better or is it only getting worse from where you're reporting?
Our feeling is that we haven't yet reached the peak of the crisis. And when I say everyone, I really say everyone, because basically, even if, we are all using all the possible precautions, and here, we don't need the police telling us to wear a mask or wear gloves or staying, 1 meter away from each other. We are all respecting the rules. But, immediately when you find yourself, in a place like this, where the numbers of the infected is already very high, you realize that it's basically impossible not to get infected. Because, you wash, your hands every 10 minutes with disinfectant, with a gel, but then when you, touch the cap of the disinfectant bottle, when you open a door, you don't use your hands, you use your elbow, but then, what about your jacket, what about your shirts? So basically, there is no real way to be 100% sure, and safe. And the point is that when the virus is so spread, everyone is getting it. Our impression is that basically some of us are, our bodies are reacting quite strongly. So that's why we don't show any symptoms. So you basically see, that the symptoms are really different from, depending on the overall health condition of the subjects. But honestly, I was in India at the end of August, beginning of September, and I was in Kolkata. And the first thing that came to my mind, honestly, when I arrived here is, oh, what about if this virus arrives in India?
Well, we have it in
I mean, it's frightening. It's frightening.
Francesca, thank you for joining us, because yes, you said you were in India and Kolkata, and you said, what if it comes to India? It's frightening. We don't want to sound alarmist, but we want to put out all the information that we have out there. I highly appreciate you for joining us. We'll try and make contact with you again. Be safe, and very brave reporting from Lombardy, Francesca. Thank you for joining us. All right, on that note, I'm going to go into a quick break, but we do leave you with this small update as part of Colgate's Get Started with a Smile campaign on our network. We bring you another inspiring story of an individual who, in his quest to help his wife and countless Indian women, braved odds and pursued his goal relentlessly.
I am Arunachalam Muruganandam, known as Padman. I am the man who introduced the affordable sanitary pad movement across India.
In his youth, Arunachalam was a simple farmer, but his life changed when he got married.
I saw one day my wife using a unhygiene, ugly rag cloth to manage her period days. That's why I started this affordable sanitary pad movement to just help my wife.
This is when the reality of India's entrenched social taboos hit him. Despite innovating a unique low-cost pad, every woman he knew refused to try it.
That's forced me to wear sanitary pad myself. Then one point of time I became a woman with an artificial uterus.
But the journey led to big personal setbacks.
The wife left, the mother left, the whole village, they chased out me from the village. But I never give up. I smile myself whenever I am seeing a mirror. Muruga, go hide further.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.